Alright, how you doing? Welcome to Rappin' Nature. I'm David, and on this channel I pay homage to nature and the ancients. Following my profound experiences in Egypt, I've been on a life-changing and spiritual quest. I explore megaliths, sacred landscapes, and the powerful connection between nature and the ancients. I hope you're able to join me on my journey and subscribe to Rappin' Nature. Cheers! Today I'm going to give you a tour of Necropolis of Son Real, which is a prehistoric burial ground on the northern coast of Mallorca. It's right next to the Mediterranean, and this is a beautiful location. The tombs date from around the 7th century BC, and this is an ancient and sacred landscape. I parked the car at Finca Son Real. It's about a half an hour walk from the car park to the coast into this Necropolis of Son Real. Finca Son Real is a public estate and like a archaeological, ecological reserve. It's around 395 hectares of protected coastal forests, dunes and farmland. It's both a nature reserve and an open air museum. I always talk about the journey being a big part of my megalithic trips. It's about the destination, but for me it's as much about the journey, and this is a journey I definitely wanted to share. It's about half an hour's walk to this ancient site itself. I probably condensed it to about 10 minutes here, but I definitely wanted to include it. I was arriving, it was around 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun was about to rise, and it was a beautiful thing to witness. And it's about collecting memories and experiences from these trips I go on. Recording this video now, which I'm sharing with you, looking at the sun rising and thinking back to how I was feeling at that particular time. And how I was feeling at that particular time was, it felt like the earth was waking up, like nature was waking up. I was walking through this beautiful, pine forest, and I'll come on to it in a second, but it did feel, I could feel my body, I could feel my mind being present, but also, being, grounded, but also relaxing as well. This kind of, it was like a transition. It was like feeling like I was a transition into this sacred space I was entering. I remember at the time the sound of the gravel under my feet, walking through these trees, smelling these trees, starting to get a wee bit of a scent, a whiff of the sea. But also very much this light starting to appear and break its way through these trees, and seeing the change in the colours. Again, looking back on it as I'm filming this, recording this for you now, it's kind of like this was a pilgrimage almost, that step over from kind of day-to-day life and then making my way to this ancient site, like I was making an actual pilgrimage, And this is why these sacred landscapes are so important to me when I visit these megaliths. It's a reminder that nature itself leads you to these megaliths. And I always say that the ancients, they never chose these locations randomly. I think nature guided the ancients to the locations of these sites. The ancients, they followed the energy of the earth, they followed light, they followed sound and water. And that's what I felt here a wee bit. This was it wasn't just a walk, it was like an approach, a process, a journey, making that pilgrimage to this site, which we'll see soon. And one of my own personal learnings, again, repping nature for me is this journey for me personally, and sharing my learnings my experiences. These are all direct experiences from all these places I visit. And one thing I beginning to learn and certainly understand is I think the landscape holds memory. It's spiritual, you know. You'll know yourself when you go to an ancient place and you feel something that's real to you. And whether you call it spirit, energy, or memories, you know, that's happened, that's experiential, that's real. If stone can carry vibration and water can remember shape, then why not memory in the land? So we can see things starting to open up a wee bit now. The forest is opened up. Look at the sun, absolutely amazing. The sea and the land, where the land meets the sea, and it's just such an incredible location. I still remember at the time, looking back as I again record this for you, just trying to kind of picture or freeze frame this in my mind, this location, this place and time, visiting this ancient site and seeing it for the first time. Necropolis of Son Real dates from the same time as the Taliotic culture across the Balearic Islands. I've shared a few other videos from ancient megalithic sites from Mallorca. Have a look at my Spain playlist for some other videos I've shared. These tombs here at Necropolis of Son Real are thought to date from the 7th century, the kind of early Iron Age. It's thought again there was continued use through the 5th and 4th centuries right into Roman times around the 1st century BC. So we're getting closer to the site now and the views here are absolutely amazing. Alright, how are you doing? So I'm very happy and grateful to be at Son Real Necropolis in Mallorca, and it's an absolutely gorgeous morning. I've just watched the sunrise on the way to this ancient site. This is a coastal burial site. It's right next to the Mediterranean, as you can see. It's thought to date from the 7th century to the 4th century BC, and there's around 110 tombs. And it's absolutely gorgeous, the location, the setting here right next to the sea. It's about half an hour's walk from the car park, and as I always say, megalith hunting for me is as much about the journey as it is the destination. So walking here, walking through this beautiful pine forest. Really hear the sounds of the earth and nature coming alive and waking up, the sounds of the birds, and you just feel yourself relax as you walk through this forest. The sun is rising, and now I'm here at this ancient site, so absolutely buzzing and grateful to be here. So we will go and have a look in a second. As I said, I think there's around 110 of these tombs. I think they come in different shapes and sizes, so let's go and have a wee look, shall we? May I approach? This prehistoric burial ground dates back over 2,500 years. It's quite a sprawling space. It stretches over 8,600 square feet. There's around 110 of these stone-built tombs which come in various shapes, which we'll start to see soon. You know, they're circular, square, rectangular, horseshoe-shaped. And excavations at this site have recovered up to 400 individuals, human remains. And it was interesting starting to see some of the shapes of these tombs, circular, rectangle, polygonal, and some were I can only describe as like a inverted ship. So they kind of feel not only like just graves, but almost like they're symbolic. And the whole time you're here at this site, you can't help but look at the sea. It's an incredible, beautiful location. This is sacred grounds, a sacred site. And some of these tombs, perhaps you can't help but feel perhaps they were also symbolic, like symbolic vessels, ships for the soul, you know. It's directed and looking, orientated to east and the rising sun, which, you know, for me doesn't represent death. It represents, you know, rebirth, light, transformation. You know, it definitely felt like a transformation as I walked through this forest and when I arrived at this site. It's interesting seeing the shapes of some of these tombs. They're almost kind of like wee talliot structures, miniature talliots. So clearly this design, this shape was of significance to these people here in Mallorca. And within the tombs themselves, there's some of them have got like 2 or 3 depressions. So assuming it's a place of burial, it faces east, right next to the Mediterranean. So clearly a spiritual place with the sea, the afterlife. And actually coming here, there is as you walk through this pine forest, it's that wee bit of journey. You know, you feel very calm as you walk through this pine forest, and then you come to this ancient site. It's absolutely beautiful. Among the archaeological objects found at this site include weapons, jewellery, ceramics, shells, and even food remains. This site was no doubt used by different cultures over many, many years with different funerary traditions. This site feels very connected and embedded with nature. These tombs are integrated into the natural bedrock, either carved directly or built adjacent to it. And it's kind of blurs the lines a wee bit between natural and constructed spaces. It feels like these tombs are rising, or like they're emerging from the land. And the tombs themselves are made of sandstone, which contains quartz. And one of the things I always talk about is quartz is piezoelectric, meaning it can generate an electrical charge under pressure. Its presence in megalithic structures or in sandstone tombs like this one perhaps supports the idea that these places could conduct or amplify subtle earth energies. If you combine this with the water, then perhaps this was an energetic and transformational monument. The shapes of the tombs, and they're almost like surrounded by these, like you can see here, these taliotic type structures, like kind of wee temples built around the tombs themselves. Clearly very, very intentional for these people, the shapes of these structures. When you're here, and certainly the journey I took to get here, it does feel like that journey, that transformation with the light and facing right next to the sea. The ancients were connected to the earth. They knew how to listen to the land. They were grounded. They knew where energy flowed. This place could well have been not just about death, perhaps also it was about a passage or renewal and connection to the earth. It's interesting seeing the different shapes of these tombs. This one here, and it's got two depressions, kind of rectangular depressions. That's not an adult-sized tomb. This is an amazing ancient site. As much as anything, it's this gorgeous location, this coastal spot facing east right next to the Mediterranean. And as I said, there's 110 of these tombs. And each of the tombs are kind of surrounded by what's like I was always going to say like a dolmen type structure, but it's a taliot. Many of them are kind of like wee kind of miniature taliots, and within each of these structures, these graves, which come in different sizes and shapes. Some are kind of rectangular, circular, some are almost like a inverted ship, horseshoe shaped, which is really interesting. And within these structures there's kind of, some have 2 or 3 depressions, so assuming it's a place of burial, but it's really quite an incredible place, powerful. It's clearly a very spiritual spot right next to the sea here. A big takeaway for me coming here will definitely be the journey to come here through this pine forest, which was about a half-an-hour walk, and the kind of build up to arriving here. It's absolutely beautiful. So there we go, Necropolis Son Real here in Mallorca, Balearic Islands, Spain. It's absolutely gorgeous here. This site facing east, right next to the Mediterranean. Clearly a very powerful and spiritual place for these people, no doubt about it. There's 110 of these tombs. It's dated from, I think, the 7th century BC up to the 1st century BC. There's around 110 tombs. It's interesting as I've kind of walked around, seeing these different kind of structures, the kind of talliot type styles, like a kind of wee talliot structure surrounding the tomb. And the tombs themselves seem to have come in different shapes and sizes, like rectangles, there's almost like circles, inverted kind of ship shape type tombs as well. And some within the structures or tombs, there's sometimes 2 or 3 different depressions. So beautiful place, clearly a very place of significance and spirituality to the ancients, no doubt about it, with this coastal location. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. Please give us a wee like, comment and subscribe to Rep in Nature. Alright, nice one. Cheers. So before you go, there's a dolmen very close nearby. It's about 5 minutes walk. It's called Dolmen de Son Real, and it's thought to date from 2000 BC. The walk to the dolmen is absolutely gorgeous along this kind of coastal path, and this megalithic structure is one of the oldest sites on Mallorca. And there are only 3 such sites in Mallorca like this one. The dolmen itself, which we'll see soon, is in a wee bit of a ruinous state. However, once you get there and walking there, the view is out of this world, and it's well worth staying with me till the end here as we walk around the dolmen. But also you can see a raised platform here, which we'll walk up at the end and just have a panoramic view of this incredible landscape. So next to Necropolis Son Real, we also have Dolmen de Son Real, and again it's thought to be a burial site. It's in a wee bit of a ruinous state, but absolutely gorgeous location. So let's go and have a look.